work obligation, they cannot be here. Thank you in advance for your understanding. Sincerely, Gil Gregory.
Thank you very much, sir. Our next speaker is Mr. Brian Keenan. Mr. Keenan?
Good afternoon, councilors. I'm Captain Brian Keenan, the president of the Springfield Police Supervisors Association. I represent 76 sergeants, captains, and lieutenants in the Springfield Police Department. I'm here to speak in favor of keeping the ordinance the way it is. Springfield deserves a professional police manager. The police superintendent needs the ability to promote, to discipline, to hire police personnel. He needs control over his budget. We can't go back to the way it was prior to that. I see a lot of my former colleagues that worked under the previous commission system, and I worked under that commission too, and I can tell you the current system as it is has kept politics out of policing. Every organization you go to, the CEO usually has experience in that profession, and policing's no different. Policing has become so much more complicated. In the past 5 years particularly, we need a professional superintendent who has policing experience to run the organization. And you don't get policing experience like the incumbent superintendent Akers. 37 years he's been on this job of impeccable credentials. He needs the opportunity to run this police department the way the citizens and the men and women of the police department do so. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Bishop Talbert Swan. Bishop.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the council. This matter goes back about 20 years. In 2004, Mitt Romney appointed the Finance Control Board, and it was about 2005 when former Police Chief Paul Amira retired. Shortly thereafter, the Control Board abolished the Police Commission, left the position of Police Chief vacant, and created the position of a Police Commissioner. I worked alongside this council for many years in attempts to bring back civilian review. There's conventional wisdom and there's much research that will show you that civilian review works best in cities like Springfield, as opposed to all of the power and authority resting in one individual within the police department. This council sued the administration to ensure that an ordinance that it passed would be implemented. That ordinance finally gave us, after 20 years, a police commission that had statutory authority to subpoena, to discipline, to hire, to terminate, to set policy, and to promote. I'm asking this council to keep that in place, keep that power in the hands of a police commission so that we can have true civilian review in this city after 20 years. After 2 decades, it's time to go back to what was meant to be and what should be for true civilian review. Thank you.
Thank you, Bishop. Our next speaker is Corey Houston. Is Corey here? Corey Houston? Okay. Angela Thorpe. Is Ms. Thorpe here? Just checking online as well. Okay. And our next speaker is Representative Carlos Gonzalez. Mr. Representative, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening, good afternoon. Honorable councilors, I stand with admiration and full acknowledgement of the great work that you have done for the great city of Springfield. And for the newcomers, understanding the history is relevant to where we are at today. To the mayor, my mayor, which I support wholeheartedly, and 90% of the times, I think he gets it right. To all my police officers that are here today, the law enforcement that protect and serve us on an ongoing basis, thank you for your work, your dedication, and commitment. Many of them are my personal friends, including the union president, my man. It's not us against them. Don't let it be. It's not me against you or you against him or green against yellow. It's people first. It's people first. You know, a long time ago, somebody said that if we don't learn from history, it tends to repeat itself. Winston Churchill. So we have a commitment and obligation to know and study our history. Because a person without the knowledge of himself is like a tree without roots. It doesn't grow. This city has come a long way, and we are excited about the trend and the path that we are all taking. It's an honor to serve as your state representative. It's an honor to work with you as my colleagues. Mis hermanos y hermanas, my brothers and sisters. Today is basically some questions that I want to ask. These are principal questions that I want to, somebody can hold these up, so the back group can read and give me the big one so I can show them to the city council. Basic questions. Excuse me. It says the first question is, the Massachusetts Supreme Court voted for the people of Springfield. Let's see how our councilors vote. Did the people have a civilian police commission in the past? Is that true or not? I say that's a yes. The chief and the community police board in the past, which I was in the mayor's office, agree on 99% of the issues that were before them back then. If you can go back in the history books and see when the police commission decided one thing and the superintendent at the time, police chief at the time, voted totally opposite of each other, is very, very rare.
Rep, if it's okay with you, does any counselor object to us giving Rep. Gonzalez another 3 minutes? Okay, we'll give you another 3 minutes. Rep. You get another 3 minutes, Rep.
Thank you, Mr. President. So, 99% of the time, was it dismantled by executive order of a control board? And guess where those control board members lived? Not in the city of Springfield. It wasn't a mayor, it was a control board. So that's a yes. Did the people fight for a civilian police commission, as many of our individuals here today have stated? That's a yes. Did the people who went to court win when they fought that? Obviously, that's a yes. Did the mayor appeal that decision? That's a yes. Did the Supreme Court rule in favor of the people? Yes. That's a yes. Who will you vote for as representatives of the people? Basically, that's the question. It's not about me liking you or you liking me or about the caliber of what I think is a person with character, honesty, commitment, and dedication to this city for the years that he has served Superintendent Larry Agers. I don't have a long-standing relationship with him. I don't know if he's still here, but I've had conversations with him. And I can see in his heart, he wants to do the right thing. But he had some challenges in the past, and that's the past we don't want to go back to. So it's not about us against them. I shook everyone's hand that I could, because that's the people of Springfield, and they are here to protect and serve. And we together, you, Mr. President, which I have the most honorable respect for, the mayor, my city council men and women, some of them who were fighting this fight from the beginning as the Mujeres de la Vanguardia, and now. So, politics is the art of negotiation. I don't think we have to do this decision today, tomorrow, because we have time. There's no rush. But under the pretenses, some people say, we got to do this right away. Well, Larry Akers ain't 65 yet, and he looks like he's only 55. So he's had a whole year. And at this moment, I just want to honor and admire the work that our outgoing commissioner has done, Cheryl Clapper. Thank her for the dedication and commitment to the city of Springfield. But ongoing and ending, I just say this, that there's no rush. The public is watching. You have a vote. And I hear that there may be a solution. That we sunset without revisit, and please be clear, because I'm a man of my word. If you're gonna come back to this game of politics and revisit this when Mr. or Superintendent Akers decides to move on, you have no blessings from me. If you sunset it when he leaves, it just goes back to the police commission. You have my 150% support. I support Larry Akers, and I support the Constitution of this country, and I support the ordinance of this city. And lastly, I'll just
Thank
say,
you. If you could wrap up, please, Rep. We do
This-
need to.
were yeses. January 6th happened. You can't deny that. The history that we saw here before, and the reason why police reform came about was there. That's history. You can't deny that. Donald Trump did not win the election. And the DOJ, you can't deny that, supported the civilian police board. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rep. Okay, our next speaker is Representative Orlando Ramos, former member of this council and council president. Welcome back.
I don't have any visuals to share with all of you, but I do want to build on that history. First of all, thank you for this opportunity to speak on this very important matter. Thank you to the honorable members of the Springfield City Council, those who are here, those who are online. This is not an easy task. This is, as my former colleague on the Springfield City Council and now in the House of Representatives, Buddy Williams likes to say, this is when government is not fun, right? When you got to make the tough decisions. And I will give you a little bit of history. So the first time that I voted on a police commission, it was 2014. It's one of the first votes that I took as a city councilor. And as my good friend, Pastor Swan said, this goes back over 20 years. But I got involved in it in 2014. It was one of the first votes that I took, and I voted in favor of a police commission. It was then the late, great, honorable Mr. E. Henry Twiggs who was leading the charge at the time. And I did so for two reasons. One was because of the number of police misconduct cases that were taking place in the city of Springfield, and the millions and millions of dollars that we were paying out in misconduct cases involving police officers in our police department who were not only not disciplined, but they were rewarded and they were promoted years later, even though they cost the city of Springfield and our taxpayers millions and millions of dollars. So I decided as a municipal legislator that it was better to have a 5-person review board as opposed to having a single police commissioner. 2 years later, we voted again to codify the police commission ordinance. 2 years after that, in 2018, we amended the ordinance because we knew that it was going to eventually end up in the courts. And we amended the ordinance to ensure that it was going to survive a court review. And it did. Not only did it survive the court review, it also survived an appeal. And that's how we ended up where we are today. So I hear some people saying leave it as is. As it stands today, the police commission has the authority to hire, to fire, to promote. By law, on paper, that is what it says. The reason why that's not happening is because the mayor continues to break the law that the city council passed and was reaffirmed by the Supreme Court of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. The second reason why I decided to support this current system as opposed to the old system was because of the promotions that were happening and the promotions that were not happening. If you can indulge me for just one more minute, Mr. President.
2 minutes?
So-
Good with everybody? 2 minutes.
Thank you. Because of the promotions that were not happening, I know I'm not the only one who receives the phone calls from police officers who inform us of when there is an unjust promotion taking place within our police department. And all you have to do is look at the lack of diversity that we have within our ranks, and you can see that there's a problem with the with the current system. And so I stand before you today, again, just to give you a little bit of history, but also to ask you to remember how hard we fought to get to where we are today. If you think this room is packed today, think about how packed it was when we were passing this ordinance in the first place. The number of people, the number of phone calls, the number of emails that we received. The city spoke, the people spoke loud and clear, and they told us that this is the system that they wanted. And so my recommendation, my ask of all of you is that we leave the current system that is in place. I was just informed that there may be a compromise on the table. I am 100% with my colleague. If there is going to be a compromise, because I do respect the authority of the City Council, that it be a revert back to the old system, not a revisit. One word can mean a world of difference. And so I caution you on that. And if we can come to a compromise that we all agree with, then you will have my support when this hits the floor on the House of Representatives. But again, I just want to thank you for the work that you do. Please remember the hard work that everyone put into this ordinance to get to the point where we are. Let's not undo all of that hard work that we've done over the past 20 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Rep. And our last speaker is another former colleague, former City Council Vice Chair, Senator Adam Gomez. I didn't have this toy when you were here, you know.
I should have took advantage while you were playing with it. So,
Okay,
first
go
time-
ahead, Senator.
for the first time ever, tested 1, 2. For the first time ever, for some reason, I feel some nerves coming over me. I got some prepared remarks, but I don't do well with prepared remarks. When we created this policy, it was supposed to stand at the will of time. It was supposed to stand for justice and for the victims that were mistreated and hurt. Also, when we continue to legislate because of personality, we find ourselves in a funk in the reality of the fact of what did we fight for? I remember in 2014, I was an advocate and I stood on this side of the fence. And the last 2 votes that were taken, I took them on that side of the fence. And by the time I can see the policy and the ruling from the SJC, I was elected the first state senator of color in Hampden District history. So we have a lot of firsts that we want to commemorate, right? We want to acknowledge that we are breaking barriers. The appointment, I was on stage when the mayor announced Deputy Chief Larry Akers, and I said to him, I said, this is a great selection. It is. But I have to really look at what I fought for. I knew one way or another, if it was this mayor or the next, the time would come that we would see a person of color become that police commissioner, police superintendent, police chief. But we always knew, the ones that were here with us when we took this vote, that once Commissioner Superintendent Clapproot had left, that power would always revert regardless of who was to be in that position or was appointed. And we knew when we legislated it, and that also when We had the pro bono lawyers that when we seen the piece of legislation and we won, we all called each other and said, we won. The people called and said, we won, right? For the first time in a long time, we had a really great pause of saying that we got something accomplished collectively together. It's been a long time since I've been in these chambers, and I just want you to just recognize that, one, that when we fight collectively together, we win. And this isn't personal. This isn't that, if you want to ask the question, I would rather
Two more minutes, okay, with everybody?
Please, thank you.
Okay.
It just, this vote today, and if we do it rushed, right? What I'm asking is, it's just, I feel that there should have been more public hearing and testimony, specifically behind the fact that something of this great magnitude that took a decade to see its fruit. We planted the seed, we seen the tree grow, but we didn't see the commission bear fruit yet. We have not let the commission, because historically, the administration has the appointments. And right after the SJC ruling, they created an MOU, which I believe still can be challenged in court, is inexplicably illegal. So that's why you have to legislate, because even the announcement outside of law is a problem. Because historically, when you have a police commission that comes in, they're the ones that hire, fire, and appoint. So that's why you guys are giving the power to the mayor, which I have no problem with. But when it comes to the second piece of it, without understanding what this new commission, this commission that needs these skills and know-how, and to reflect on even the past commissioners. My mother was a police commissioner here under Charles Ryan before they took it away. And my mother busted her ass every single day on behalf of the people. So for us to say that they don't have the know-how or the willpower, because you know what? Sometimes when we're legislating and we're talking about legislation, we need other eyes to look at certain things in another way. And it's not that, because there's been super rumors, Adam's not pro-cop. My mom was a police commissioner. My cousins are all police officers. We've been served this country for over 50 years, four wars. It's about what we made law and what withstands the time. Because when we're not here, when Mr. Akers or all these police officers and all of you, we can't go to revisit. We need to go to revert if you want any type of compromise. Because it takes one vote to object in the House. Nobody has talked to me, and I'm the senator for this city. Disrespectful.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Gomez. That'll conclude our public speak out. The council will take a 2-minute recess, and then we'll convene our special meeting. Thank you.